All right. Hopefully that sounds okay. That's good stuff. Hey, Holly, welcome in. I'll put this over here for now. Yeah, we're just doing a quick rebuild video. Well, it won't be quick, but it's sort of an in-depth stick rebuild of the process I go through to clean it up and make sure it runs smoothly. Every so often, I try to do this. I try to do a rebuild probably every couple months. It depends on if it starts feeling really nasty or sticky. I'll try different lubricants for the bearing and stuff. I experiment a lot with a lot of different stuff. So I'll also be going through the restrictor plate as you get them from, and I'll show the difference between the old original restrictor plate and the one from Mike's Arcade. There we go. A little loud. So we'll go through the modifications. Well, it's not really modifying, but we are smoothing out the restrictor plate so it don't leave sharp edges on it. And I'll show you what sharp edges will actually do to the bushing section of it. So we got quite a bit to go through. It's a pretty simple process, but when you want to make sure everything's smooth and works correctly, you definitely want to take your time and do it right, for sure. Oh, Mike's Arcade is, yeah, recommended 100%, top notch. It's like here's the original restrictor plate. The original restrictor plate that came off. Do you see how worn that is? Yeah, it's pretty worn. And the Mike's Arcade is right on the money. It's just a little bit, it's a little bit rough coming out because it looks like it may have been stamped. But we'll take some measurements. We'll do some comparisons. We'll take some measurements off both thicknesses and see how they compare. I would like to, since I was a former machinist, and I do have access to a full machine shop with all kinds of materials, I'd like to take the time and go over there and see if I can't machine out my own restrictor plates. So I'm going to try different metals, maybe some stainless. Definitely want to try out Inconel, and we should have some titanium stock in there. If I can, I'll make a couple out of titanium, just for really no performance enhancement. Is just all about durability. See if I can't get it to see how long they last. But we're getting ready to get started here in a second. Let's see, what do we got here next? Just gonna have some nice relaxing music in the background, something easy going, since this isn't a stressful stream like playing DK. Yeah, titanium would be it. The only thing better than titanium would be carbide. It'd definitely be heavier, but carbide would literally last forever. I would have to actually, instead of machining out, since carbide is so hard, I would end up, let me get that turned down a little bit more. Carbide, I would have to sit on an EDM machine. I'd actually have to machine out the plunger and actually do an EDM operation on it. So that's something I can't afford. I mean, if I had to make one, or if I custom ordered a restrictor plate, one made out of carbide, depending, it could cost upwards of probably $150, $200. The material's expensive. The process, it's easy to set up, but you got to machine the actual anode. You got to machine that out to the specific size. And since tolerances on this are, I mean, you can get away with probably plus or minus 25 thousandths, and you're still good. So tolerance wise, you don't have to hold a tight tolerance. So it would be cheaper to machine out. But just this time for setting up the EDM process, and the carbide material and getting it, I don't know how it comes in, if you can get stock that thick, already pre-thickness. I don't know. I haven't ordered carbide before. It's tough stuff, but it's awesome. It would last forever. A carbide restrictor plate would last forever. It would last literally forever. It's some awesome stuff. I worked with a lot of, when I order drill bits, I order them carbide. A normal drill bit, you're looking at $7. Carbide drill bit, you're looking at $80. So there's a big difference in price. But then again, you get that performance, and they don't wear that. I mean, they take a lot of abuse, and you can actually resharpen carbide drill bits. What we have is called a cutter grinder. It's almost like a cup, a diamond cup almost, a stone with diamond bits in it, because that's the only way you can sharpen carbide is use diamond on it. So we have these diamond wheels to sharpen these carbide tips. I don't know how technology's come, but that's what we used to do back in the day. So it's going to be a nice, long, boring stream today. But I want to make sure I go through everything on my process of tearing the joystick apart. And I'm going a little more in-depth than I normally would do. Because if someone they want to follow, what I do, just to smooth things out and everything. I just want to make sure that's all documented, just on how I do it. Everybody might have different ways of doing it, but I don't. My sticks come out feeling just crisp. So they really crisp. What am I doing here? We'll give it a little more time before we get started. just a little bit. Stick this over here. And I'll go through, you know what, I'm going to stick this back up here since I can read a little better. So I'm going to go through, you know, all the tools, all the files I use. I got some ultra fine sandpaper. Now this sandpaper I got, I don't know if the public can get it, but I can get it. Justin, welcome in. Jamie, what's up? Dallas, welcome in. So the sandpaper I got is ultra fine. It's 5 micron. I got a sheet of 5 micron and I got a sheet of 2 micron. Now this shit is made to polish fiber optics and glass. So this stuff, the stuff I got is not everybody can get a hold of it, but I'm lucky enough to have a supplier who's able to get me some. Now I can use this also, this 5 micron stuff. You get a little damp, and it takes a little bit of work, but you can use it on the plastic bezels and stuff to get those fine scratches out. It'll polish that shit right up, and we'll go through it. I got the special mat for it. Like I said, this stuff is used for fiber optic stuff that we use on that the government uses. It's good stuff. I mean, you could probably get it, but I'm sure it's super expensive. But they allowed me to have a couple pieces of it, so that was very, very generous of them. So, well, yeah, we'll go through the tools, and I'll go through, you know, showing you what 40 years of wear looks like on the restrictors, stuff you could look for to smooth up. But I can go ahead and get started since I see everybody's here. Of course, it's easy enough. Am I on it? Do I need to zoom in any? Yeah, let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. Give me 1 second. All right. Of course, it's really easy. Yeah, no reason to be any kind of intimidated. I mean, looking at it from the start, it's very, very simple to do. Like you said, Dallas, once you tear into it, you know, it's like, holy shit, there's really not a whole lot to it. I removed the Jesus clip. So we call it the Jesus clip because they'll pop off, you'll lose it, you'll be like, Jesus. So we'll go ahead and pull that out. There we go. Our Jesus clip. There we go. And we'll put that in our little bin. And we got a cleaner for that. Now the cleaner we are using, I love this stuff. It's a great degreaser. I think you can order it on Amazon or maybe Grainger. Any of the big shops, I'm sure you can order it through. But this stuff works phenomenal, and it's more of an electrical contact cleaner, but this stuff works amazing. There we go. It's your typical CRC QD contact cleaner. I have this all upside down, so it's tough there. But this is the cleaner we'll be using to clean out all the joints and everything. So we got our Jesus clip out. We'll just go ahead and remove our bushing. We got our bushing here. You can see that's nice and smooth. That's a new bushing from Mike's Arcade. Shiny, new bushing. Again, I want to experiment and make this. I got a bunch of brass. And I don't know if this is made out of brass already. It might be. But we got some tough grade brass sitting in the shop that's been sitting there for like 20 years no one's using. I think I can make some and experiment a little bit. Maybe make it to where they don't wear as much. These could be a little tougher. This out of carbide would be phenomenal. I mean, less friction. That would be this thing here in carbide would probably be a couple $100. I would imagine. Nah, probably not. It's a simple through hole. It's not that bad, but we'll go ahead and put it in our little bin over here. All right, we'll go ahead and pull our joystick out. Well, let's go ahead and pull our spring off. You see, it's a little dirty. There's our spring, of course, replacement from Mike's Arcade. We'll put that in there. We'll go ahead and pull our stick. And that is also, since I broke my other one, this is a Mike's Arcade replica. And I will show you the difference between the one I showed Who's Boss. You can see the difference between the original one that was on it. There we go. This is the original one on there. You can see what happened. And it's a little smaller, but I like that. It's pretty comfortable. It's a little better than this one. I do like that one better. Oh, that was my non-steering joystick that broke in half that I didn't agree with. All right, we'll go ahead and pull our bushing, our bottom bushing, spring bushing. Of course, this is a replacement from Mike's Arcade as well. Yeah, you can see I got fucking dirt all over it. We'll put that in there. And you know what I didn't get is a paper towel. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Hey, Bar, what's up? Welcome in. We'll be right back. All right, we got our paper towels. We'll get ready to pull these micro switches off. And these are awesome micro switches. I have not replaced these. I think these are all originals here. No. These, yeah. Yeah, I believe these are the original ones that came in with it. It might not be original to the actual control panel. Might have been replaced at one point, but we'll go ahead. There we go. So we'll go ahead and pull these. Just 2 Phillips. I don't know if you can see that. You know what? Let me zoom out on this part right here. Easy to do it that way. There we go. Easy enough. Of course, you got your little riser plate here. I'll also just set them aside. Alright. Getting there. Hey Ben, welcome in. It's exciting joystick rebuild stream. We'll get to the good part here in a second. You can see the good part is starting to show right here. The restrictor plate. Stick surgery indeed. Alright, we got our riser plates out of the way. We'll actually be pulling this whole unit here. Yeah, everything's going to be manual. Everything's going to be manual. So I'm going to pull this and clean it real quick. And I've already done some not modifications, but I already did some smoothing on it. It could probably use more of a polish, but I'm going to do the full deal. I got some other stuff coming in I'll be doing the works to. I mean, putting it, and there'll be butter. Justin loves it. Right? I imagine it's going to be gold. It's going to be gold. Go ahead and remove our 4 screws. Easy enough. Where's our easy listening music go to? Can't hear. All right, so let's get this off here. And this is the restrictor plates from Mike's Arcade. We'll go ahead and spray it down. This stuff is awesome. It'll dry your hands out too because it evaporates really quick. Contact cleaner is the greatest thing on earth. Look at that. We're nice and shiny again. So what I did is I took a O-cut file because when they come in, because they're punched out. Let me zoom in again. Damn it. It's the only bad thing, I have my computer on the other side of the room. All the way over here. So then I got to get up here. Where am I? There we are. So when they come in here, when they're actually punched out. So you'll see the inside here. It'll have like a raised surface here, just slightly raised. It's not really flush straight across here. So you got this thing cutting into your bushing if you don't file this down. And especially these nubs here too for the restrictor plate. You got to file these down too. You got to take a little bit. You got to take that sharp edge off that on both sides and try to smooth out the middle. But I will be using the ones coming in. I'll be use an O-cut file. This is just a small O-cut file. I'll go through and take my time and file this nice and smooth, the edge. File the back side nice and smooth. And then just work on the center. And then I'll come back with a Dremel wheel. And I'll put a little polishing compound on there. And I'll just come on the inside and polish this up real nice on the inside here. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, damn it. And I'll polish the inside here. Not doing good camera work here. But you can tell they're pretty similar. The holes are a little bigger on the original. Where the fuck am I? Okay, here we go. So the holes are a little bigger on the original. But it's the same, basically the same punch out almost. It's just slightly smaller on the Mike's Arcade. This might have been, this is 40 years of wear. So let's check that out here. I like to go through and check the thicknesses, do a little comparison. There we go. Got our Michitoyo digitals. So we're looking at what, 78 thousandths, 78 and a half thickness. Just want to make sure it's nice, and because I went through and I filed all this down too, because it may have a raised edge here if it sits up there and you want it flush. You don't want to, sit at any kind of angle. Even though if it's just a couple thousandths, it's going to prop it up on one side. It's not going to sit flush. So I look at all four corners. I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, look at all four corners here. About a thou difference, maybe, depending on what pressure I put on it. It's just the same thickness stock. It's good. So we'll check out our original one. That was what, 78? Look at the difference between the original and the stock, or the stock one. 93 thousandths. So 15 thousandths? About 15 thou bigger, thicker. So the original one's thicker. By quite a bit. Look at the holes, 178. About 178. Holes here are 165. So it's punched out a little bit different. Not exactly the same, but it doesn't matter. The thickness, I like the thickness a little better on this, I think. I wish the mics were just a 20 thousandths thicker. About 100 thousandths would be perfect. That'd be about that thick. I don't know if you can see that. About 100 thou. That fucking camera's upside down too. It sucks. Alright. So, one second. See what the fuck they're talking about.
No, she didn't move it.
Hey. Fucking annoying. So annoying when you have people living in the house. So fucking annoying. My daughter coming in screaming. It's like, hey, quiet, man. I'm trying to think. I can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time. Anyway, getting back to this, you can tell how worn this is. Let me get my little O-cut file. I'll just get my other file. You can look what 40 years of running this does. I know, the kids are the worst, aren't they? Got to at least have 2 or 3 of them. But my oldest, thank God, he lives in another state. And he's damn near 32 years old, so. Okay, you can see the nubs on here. I have to look back on the TV because I don't have my monitor with me. See, these little nubs here for the restrictor. They just really, I mean, you can see how worn out. They're almost flat. I mean, that's 40 years of wear and tear, so it was time for this to go. But I wish I had the thickness of this. Look how thick that is. It would have been so much better. So what happens over that time, and you don't file these edges down, you're gonna see this. Well, maybe not. Maybe you will see it, maybe you won't. Who knows? You see that wear on there? There's this big dip. You can see all these lines in here. See all these lines? And these lines, they're pretty deep. I mean, I could tell, when it's been flipped around. It's been flipped upside down this way and this way and this way, and they just wore both sides down. Really? Damn it, there we go. Let's get it up closer. There you go. You can see how worn that is. And that's what it will do. If you don't file those down, it's gonna wear the shit out of that. And then you're not gonna get nice sharp movements. Look at that. That's just nuts. If you look at it, let's see what it does. Okay, let's check out my other one here. We're looking at 393 diameter on that. This one should be 393. You can see it's 393 there you go. Damn it. You can see it's 393, but if you start measuring it where it's wore at, look at that. 371. 370. Yeah, I mean, it wore a groove in this thing. 392, 387. It's all over the place. Yeah, you can hear everything. My wife has business calls. Daughter's freaking out. The inside shouldn't be wore as much. You wouldn't think. It's just sleeved on there pretty tight. 238. What's the mics? Show the mics as 238. So yeah, basically they're drilled out the same. But yeah, that wear and tear on there is nuts. So I had to replace that. Another thing I had to file down, and we'll get to that when we pull it off here. This little base right here that this little brass bushing fits on, and your spring goes on here. So this sits at the bottom. It'll start wearing. You can see it starting wearing a groove right here. It'll start wearing a groove right here. And that's because this section here, and it probably, yeah, this section right here, where this bearing fits in, that surface right there is sharp. It'll start just grinding into it. If it's not smooth and flush, I mean, we'll take this off. It's hard to get paper in there because this plate here is, both these plates are one unit. I think look like you can see where they're just tack welded here. They're tack welded together. So you can't really, I wish you could pull them apart because then I can go back and actually file that or sand it out. But it's a pain in the ass. You don't really want to sand it too much because you're going to get all those flakes and all those metal shavings down in here where the bearing is. You don't want that. You don't want that because that'll act like sandpaper in there and it'll just eat up that center bearing. Nuts. All right, so here's this. We'll go through and do a little more file work on this because I got it okay, but we're going to start using this Micron. We got these. We'll do some polishing here, and this is the paper I'm talking about. This is the rough side here, and it's so smooth. But this is 5 micron for polishing, and I can't wait to start using this on my bezel to see if I can't get those scratches out of it. But this is made for glass, fiber optics glass stuff. So we got a special mat we can put this on, and we'll go ahead and clean both sides and see. This will give you a good indication of how flat it is, because you're going to find your high spots on this thing. And this is actually completely, everything I'm doing is 100% completely unnecessary. I mean, for your basic player, it's 100% unnecessary and stupid as fuck. It really is. but I want the smoothest feel to get out of it. Because I need, at my skill level, I need every single advantage I can get. You know, it's not going to help my bad decisions. Now, as for grease, when we pull this off here and after we clean it, we're going to add our grease to this bearing down here on the inside. And what I got for this is this special, it's not a lithium grease. This is a, it's a grease they use in the on boats and shit out there. So it really, you know, I can't describe it to you. It's really good stuff, though. This is what I found works the best. They use it on a lot of their stuff they do in our shop for those items. Can't really talk about those items, but you know, they use it on that stuff, and it's really good stuff. We got our basic sandpaper here. We're just going to take a nice, you know, skim layer off of it, and of course we got our what is that? Our 3M shit here. All right, we're about ready to take this other plate off. But we'll start with this plate first, and you can see, I don't know if you can notice, but these screw places right here, they were all raised up, where you tighten it over time and it starts raising it up, so it was not flush. You had all these sharp edges right here, and you can still feel a little bit of sharp edge there. So we'll go through and file this back down once I get this plate off. And for that, we will use a 7mm. We got our 7mm nut driver. These have double nuts on these with the washer. We'll start with the ground side. Set that aside. Don't lose any of this shit, because I don't know what pitch and thread they are to replace it. Once we take this off, we'll do it'll give us I just want this out of the way, because when I start filing on the restrictor plate, I don't want any shavings getting on this. Keep it away from that bearing. There's no parts for decision making. A new brain for me, and that's about it, because I just make the stupidest fucking mistakes all the time. I swear, if I could play without making any mistakes, you know, I might make it over halfway through the game sometimes. Maybe. No guarantee. Alright, here's our last one. Very nice. Okay, I washed those out. Already cleaned those out. Here's our ground wire. Tuck that in. We'll pull that off. And this is... I'm not even going to mess with that. That's actually under the overlay. So here's this side here. And I don't know if I should file that down. I'll file around the edges here and maybe run the file across there. But let's get that cleaned up real quick. We use our CRC contact cleaner. Probably easier to do this way I could work it around. You see how loose that is in there now? I got most of that grease out of there. Let's get this shit off of here. It's not helping. About out. That's why I had to get that other can out. Bust that other can out. Every time I take this off, I'll sort of run your fingers across, see if there's any wear. You can actually feel up to about a half a thou, 6/7 you can actually feel. And I can feel a little bit of wear right here. Already, this is brand new. And right up near the surface on this top of this plate, you can feel just a little wear. It's right here. Just slightest wear, but you can feel it with your fingers. I feel just a small little bump there. That probably won't even show up on here. 233.5, 234. So half a thou, maybe a little more than that. So you can feel the wear. It wears a little bit, but I've been really putting this through the grinder. This poor thing's already been pretty abused. Alright, let's get the rest of that. There we go. Try to get that cleaned out of there. I usually like to let it soak, but the shit is so smelly. It's really, it stinks. That's why I have it in this separate room here. So I'm not having everybody else inhale this shit. Yeah, it still has quite a bit of dirt in there. Process to make sure you get all the grease and dirt out of it. You don't want anything in there. Go ahead and try. Where's my other paper towel? What did I do with that paper towel? It's probably right in front of me and I can't see it. Fuck it, I'll just get another one. Yeah, no, you got it down, man. You got it down, Dally. Okay, get this. Let's try to get it in there and sop up. See, even after spraying it down a few times, you still got shit in there. But I do want to file this down a little more. This surface. File this surface here down just a little more, if you can see that inner circle. We'll get that. Definitely don't follow me for anything. I don't know dick. And that's a fact. Oh shit. See? Just gotta make sure you get it all. Take your time. It's a process. Try to get that. Get that in there and just, there we go. That looks like I'll give it one more spray. Okay. All right, that's pretty good for now. What we'll do is we'll do a little filing here. I can feel it's pretty rough here, and this is where my wear is coming from up here. I think this sharp edge here on top. So we'll just do a little filing, and we got a little. I can't read that. That is so small. This is just a different O-cut file. That's O. This is an O-cut file, very fine, but it's a flat. This is my other O-cut file, but it's it's the conical. So we'll go through and we'll just do a little bit of filing, nice and easy. I'll file the edge first, and after that we'll file the top flat. Like I said, no need for this for, I don't know. I like my stuff smooth, and I like it to last longer. Man, there's so much shit on the bottom of that. I didn't even notice that. Hold on, let me clean that top out here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, back to this. We'll get this filed. Oh, wrong file. So now we got this smooth again. It's nice and smooth on the outside. You don't want any burrs. Oh, here's a small burr right here. Let me know if this shit gets out of focus or out of... I'm not doing it on... My monitor's right behind me, so I can't see shit. Oh, I have this zoomed in. I could zoom out for this one. I'm sorry. Hold on. That'll give me a little more. All right, so I got the edges here nice and burr free, and I'll just go over the top very slightly. And if you can, file it upside down. Don't file it this way. Your shit's gonna go right in that bearing. So anytime you file, it's a pain in the ass. but file it upside down. And I just want that surface nice and just no sharp edges. That's the goal. Make sure we wipe. Okay. Oh yeah, it's much better. And I avoid filing anything in here. On the inside of this, it's usually not bad. The stick will actually, and that's probably why, the fuck did it go? That's probably why this is wearing right here, because by the time it sits in here, get in there, bitch. You can see where it sits. Well, it sits a little higher. So you can see it's going to be, it might actually touch that every once in a while, and it'll start wearing it. It'll start wearing that bearing will start wearing it out there. So, but so far it's smooth on the outside, very smooth on the top now. No sharp burrs. I don't feel anything on the inside here. No burrs on the inside, which is good. And you definitely want to file down in here as well. Remember, file upside down. You don't need to do the edges. These outside edges, you just want to do just the top. Just the top. And again, file upside down, because you don't want that shit dropping in there. And it don't take much. It shouldn't be that bad unless this year's been neglected for 40 years. But I inspect it. If it needs it, I'll touch it up. If not, I'll just re-grease, do my thing. And the only thing new I'm doing now is restrictor plate maintenance. That's where the real shit happens. Let me feel that. Oh, that is pretty smooth. Let me go ahead and rinse it out. I don't want this, just in case anything got in there. Damn it. Okay. Very good. That should you should barely touch that bearing right there. You should barely touch it, and it should start moving all over the place, and it does. Just a little bit of dirt right there. This may seem anal, but if you want the best performance out of your stick and, best durability, and you want it to last a little while, you really got to rebuild this every so often, especially if you're just throwing that stick around constantly. That feels really good. And we got our top nice and filed down there now. So this is very smooth. Again, do not file the inside of here. You'll get those shavings down in there and it'll fuck up your day. Over time, you'll notice that. Oh, the degreaser. I don't know if you were here to saw that, but it's a contact cleaner. You see that? CRC QD contact cleaner. It's the greatest shit on the planet right here for cleaning, degreasing and everything. This stuff is awesome. This stuff is awesome. So, I will usually have, I'll buy a case of these. I'll buy fucking 12 cans of it. It's a little expensive, but I use it just for anything. I mean, especially on the car. Of course, when they use this at my work too. This is where I found out about this stuff. We do all the electrical contacts when I have to rebuild electrical harnesses for winches and stuff that go out on the boat for missions. This is the stuff they use. So when they use this shit, it's good. So I had to part way with some money and buy me a case of this because it's really good stuff. Soaking parts in dish soap water. Dawn degreaser, you throw a little Dawn in it. You can let it sit for 24 hours. It should soak in. It should really soak in between the bearing here. The only thing is that this plate is not. I avoid using water, and I'll tell you why. This plate, you can see has some oxidation up here on the top here. This is maybe made out of cold roll. I mean, it's not stainless. It looks more of cold cold roll, or I don't know what they use to make this, but it will rust on your ass. You don't want any rust under here. And the contact cleaner I use evaporates real quick. It does. I mean, if you want to use it as a base and you want to soak it in like Dawn dishwashing in water, you can soak it. As soon as you pull that out, I would hit it with contact cleaner on top of that just to make sure it's going to dry up all that moisture out of there. Or air, or I use dust off. You know, you get in there, you wash it out, you dry it off the best you can. Get in there, make sure you hit it with the duster, make sure it's clean. Make sure all the water is out of this bearing section here. Just make sure all water moisture is out of this bearing section here. So yeah, soaking it in water and dishwashing would be just fine. Yeah, get that bearing loose right here like this bearing right here. I mean, I just breathe on it and it will move back and forth. That's exactly what you want. Yeah, it just sort of flops around in there. It's like perfect. But I don't want it like that when I start playing, because I'm gonna pack it with my with the special grease I have. It's a special marine grease is what it is. So they let me borrow a little bit of that too. That was really nice of them. Yeah, just a little bit of the specialty grease. This stuff is about the perfect consistency that I'm looking for. You know, I've used like automotive grease and stuff. It gets too thick. It's nasty. And with this, I mean, you can tell when it starts darkening up, you know it's time to change. You'll get all that dirt in there and all that grind from when you're grinding it. And when this starts getting dark in there and you lose that whiteness, it's time to change it out. You know it's dirty enough to change it out. So it's a good indicator as well. That is true. Justin, that is true. I do not have a working PCB that actually steers for me more than it. Let me take that back. It does steer, but I need the board to steer at the advertised 75 percentile rate. Mine currently steers at a 30% rate. So, and if I had a board that steers, you know, I'm throwing 1.2 on the table. That's all it takes. Just all luck, no skill, and a board that steers 1.2 all day long. Kappa. All right, so we got this top file down. We got the edges filed down. Remember, don't file the inside. And when you file, flip it upside down, file from the bottom, shavings go down, not in there, any surface. Now, this as well, you can see where it's shiny, more shiny. Can you actually see that? Yeah. Okay, I'll pull it up here a little more. Yeah. This perfect angle right here. If you see, I got these high spots, these shiny spots where I run a file across there. This was raised up. So I actually had a gap right here under when this is the old restrictor plate. When it sat on here, there was a gap under here. So you know it wasn't sitting. It just rocked, and it still does a little bit. It should be flush. You should not have like that rock. And that's partially because this shit is bent. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can get that. It's reversed. I'm an idiot. It's reversed. There we go. You can see this section here. It's almost like it's bowed outward, bowed that way. So I could take it out in the garage and smack it with a hammer a little bit and make sure I get flattened. But I think we'll just do a little filing is good for now. That might be see, there's another piece of shit there. How did that get in there? There we go. Clean that off there. Clean my file off. There we go. Grease it up. Yeah, the special grease. Starcastle, welcome in. We got some special lube. It's just, like I said, the perfect consistency. You got automotive grease, which is way too thick, and then you got KY, which is way too thin. So you got to get in between there, you know, and that's the perfect consistency. But right now, we'll go ahead and take a file, our other O-cut file, or flat, and we'll file this section down. I can still feel a little bit right here where the screw holes are. It's raised up a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll just run it on the side here, sort of at a downward angle. And you just feel that. You can feel that high spot there. And it may take a little longer, but I wouldn't use anything more, I guess, than O-cut. I just don't want it scratching it all to hell. You know, I'd still like to have a halfway smooth surface. Just the file will take the high spots off of it, which is what you want. Then you can come back through there and take, like there, I just took the high spots off there. Yeah, you can still see where it's little high spots where I took off. Where that shiny section is. Right over there. So next up let's get this out of our way. We will take this. That. We'll take a little bit of this. This is, it's maybe 200-300 grit. It's a little finer. You don't want really heavy stuff. Like I said, you'll scratch the shit out of everything. And again, we're just going to sand that after that. After we take it down with the file, take this fine sandpaper here. I think it's 200 or 300 grit. I don't think it says on here. It says fine, which I'm going to say in between 200 and 400 grit, somewhere around there. In my high dollar cutting board. It's a high dollar cutting board, but it's the only flat hard surface I can find. And you see it's coming out. You're taking off the high spots. You can see where it's low here, and you can see you can actually start seeing high spots now on the actual small holes here. It doesn't matter. These are all out of the way. I just want to make sure these 4 holes are nice and shiny and flush. So this is so much fun. And the reason I moved my stream up a little bit for doing this because I want to actually play tonight. And that feels so much better. Now on the inside here, you don't have to worry about this as much. Here, this inside here, since the restrictor plate is basically keeping your joystick or any of the components from touching this ID here. This is rough as shit. I don't know if this is punched out, drilled with a fucking drill or something, but it was shitty. I filed it down just to get it a little smooth so I wouldn't cut the shit out of myself. But other than that, it really just, the top needs to be flush. It's just sand on the top, make sure it's all flush there. And that's pretty decent right there. It's nice and smooth where all 4 holes are, and you can see it's a little shinier there. Where I taken fucking English tonight, I can't speak it. Where I've taken the high spots off here. So this is about ready to go, and we're going to get ready to pack this. We're going to hit it one more time with the CRC. That's good. We don't need that anymore. Let's get our little tray down here. Our little part's been soaking down in there. Good stuff. There we go. Yeah, it's just basic cold roll. Yeah, 60 thousandths thick. That's about it. 60 thousandths thick. They use a brake press. They bend 90, 90, 90, 90 onto a bottom plate. I can make this all day long if I wanted to. Easy stuff. Make it out of titanium to where it's lighter. It costs a fortune to do that. Yeah, 56, 60, and about 60 thou. Very good. So we're done with this. Let's go ahead and clean up our other parts here real quick. Okay. Get a new paper towel for this. And once we get done with that, we'll get on to the fun part, the restrictor plate. That's my favorite. That's where we'll use this 5 micron sanding paper I got and really smooth it up. Oh, does it? Lowe's? Whew! Oh, man, you got it now. I didn't know Lowe's had that. I have to order it from Grainger. So, I'm sure Lowe's has it. I just never checked. But yeah, good shit, man. This stuff just prolonged contact. You'll see that? It starts drying out your skin. You'll see it just dissolves fat and shit. It'll start drying out your skin. Just make sure, if you want to wear gloves, wear gloves. Don't submerge your hand in it for any amount of time. It's perfectly safe. Just don't eat it, Another dumb shit. All right, so we got our bushing here, which is real nice. This is our standard bushing here. Mike's replica. So we got that clean. We'll set it aside. Next up is our bottom plate. This is also, I don't think I need to. I'll just wipe it down. Wipe it down really good. All right, we'll spray it a little down. Fucking grease just flies right off of that. It has a nice pleasant smell to it too. It isn't overwhelming, which is good for chemicals, right? You don't want a fucking overwhelming chemical smell in your house. I'm using it in the house, so I know it's not that bad. Probably shouldn't be. Should be using it out of the garage, but I don't have many streaming equipment out there. So there we go. Cleaned inside and out. And of course, you can tell the difference between this one and this one. This is the old one here. This is the stock. You can tell how wore it is. I wonder what differences is on this here. So the old one, diameter is 628 on the old one. A little over half an inch. Less than 3/4. 628. So they're about the same. And the ID is going to be same. 228. 228. What about the thickness here? 77 on thickness. 77. This is exact replica. Mike's right on the money. Exact same. So perfect. That's clean. Our spring. I got about 5 of these now, so that's good. Replacement springs. Just want to make sure it's somewhat clean. It's fucking grease. Yeah, it was already. I didn't rebuild this too long ago, and you got to see how I didn't really do a great cleaning job last time, so I was going to have some residual nastiness in there. There we go. Got it done. Nice and clean. And our last is our Jesus clip. Get that out there. This may be standard. You could just look it up for C-clip or E-clips. I think it's called an E-clip. I'm sure you just look at the diameter of your joystick here and be like, okay, it'll be close. Say you need a 235, right? What's the diameter of the? It's going to be a little deeper than that. But basically, if you give an ID of 235, it's going to get close. So, no worries there. Make sure that groove is cleaned out too. Shit will get up under there. It's not really a wear point to worry about. We will actually, we're going to clean the E-clip up on some of our stuff. Our good micron, small micron sandpaper here. All right, let's get this out of the way. I'll just sort of wipe this shit out. It's not really that dirty. Yeah. So if you lose one, you'll be out just a few days because they're until you get some shipped in. They're easy. Yeah, they use a standard size. Like I said, 238, 240, whatever it is. I really don't need to mess with that. That's good enough. Fuck it. It's not a wearable part. All it does is retain that top bushing in. Now for the fun stuff, let's get to our restrictor plate. This is what we're here for. We're going to go through, and I got to file just a little more down, but I will show you that process of when you get a replacement from Mike's, definitely what you want to do and how you want to go about cleaning these up. Like I said, these are punched. These are through punched on a press. You could tell by the roughness on the inside here, these are not machined out at all. These are just straight punched. So this area inside is going to be really rough, and you'll have one raised edge. Oh, am I even on the? Yeah, there we go. You'll have one raised edge on the other side because it sort of punches, and you'll sort of have a small angle. You know, it may be 2-3 degrees. It's not much, but you'll have a raised surface on one side, and then it slowly angles down. So the other side's not bad. But that one raised side will start cutting into your bushing. You tell I didn't really get this good. I could feel this right here. This is the bottom side of the plate. When they're punched, the sheet stock goes in here. It punches out through the top. And the bottom, of course, I can still feel, even though I filed it, there's some edges here. I can feel it, you know, like that. See, it gets caught on the edge. So we're going to do a nice file job on the inside here again. Now, I'm not going to polish it during this, but it's a really easy process. If you have a Dremel, you can go to Walmart and get some Mother's polishing compound or whatever. You put it on a Dremel, they'll have those little white soft pads on the end of the Dremel, and you just put a little bit on there and take it at a low speed and just start polishing the inside of here, and it won't take out, you know, maybe 1/10, 2/10, so 0.0001 to 0.0002 of an inch. So polishing doesn't take out a whole lot, but it will smooth the shit out of this without losing too much material. Oh, water jet. Yeah, you notice it'll be really shitty finish on the top where the edges, where the water jet, because the water jet uses like a sand material. They'll use a sand material in the water, you know, they'll use that to help cut. So it cuts at high pressure, but the holes, everything is too sharp for, I guess you could, it'd just be a waste to water jet. And a laser, you could laser cut them out. If you have access, if anybody has access to a laser cutter, you can have them cut out with a laser. This would be so easy to dimension. I could take this and put it on SolidWorks, put in my thickness, extrude out my pattern, through holes, put my hole locations here, dimensions from center line to center hole to center hole to center hole, and get that pattern put out. And then I could take that my 3D model and send it over to a laser cutter and just have them cut right out. So this is a very, very simple, if you have any kind of CAD knowledge, SolidWorks, or what's the other shitty, Creo. I fucking hate Creo. Creo is not intuitive in any way. It's like a professional level of CAD, and I'm a fucking dumbass. So I use SolidWorks, it's pretty easy to learn. Won't take you too long to draw a shape and extrude it out and all that good stuff. Pretty easy. It's not bad. But anyway, a part like this, it'd be so easy just to make. Extrude out, dimension. Anyway, let's get started. I'm sitting here fucking blabbing away. Let's get started on the file. I use my conical O-cut file. It's a small file. And I'll just start hitting the edges here. I don't file back and forth. I use one direction. Just one direction at a time. And I'm just getting the edge here, just the outside edge. And I'll start with this outer edge first. And then I'll come back and do the other side. And then after that, I'll work the flat surface ends here. So, but I just don't want no edge here. I want it nice and radiused if you can. That's why I sort of, as I'm filing, I'll go top to bottom. And it'll create just the slightest radius on it. And you don't want much. You don't want to take out a whole lot of material. Hey, Heck, welcome in. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. See, you can see I already filed this down a little bit, but around these, especially around here, just be careful you don't stab yourself either. These O-cut files are sharp on the end. There we go. It don't take a whole lot to do it. Like I said, you're not taking off too much material. Did I get that one? Yeah. That's right. Now I'm here. It's pretty mundane stuff. But like I said, I like to take my time. No hurry in this. You want it done right. You don't want to fuck up a plate. Even though they're pretty inexpensive, $9 a piece from Mike's. I mean, just the shipping will cost you more than that. So you just want to take it easy on that. I mean, you'd really have a hard time to fuck one of these up, to be honest. Just don't fucking flatten these little your restrictor nubs off here. Oh, Hector, I'm actually just, this is a Mike's Arcade replica. And when they come in, since they're punched out, here's the original one. You could see it's just wore out. The nubs are wore out. I needed to get a new one anyway. It still worked somewhat, but I wanted a new one. But when these came in, since they're punched out on a press, it leaves sharp edges on the inside here. On this edge here, especially on the bottom edge here where it sits flush on your plate here. So we went through earlier and we sanded this top plate. We went ahead and sanded the rough edges around the edge of where the building, where this bearing is, where the bearing holder is, and smoothed out this edge here and here so it's nice and so don't fuck up your bearing, like especially this bottom bearing here where the spring is. As it sits down on top of that and it's wearing, if that surface down here is fucked up and you got burrs and shit, it's just gonna eat it alive. And you can tell here, this is an original one here. It just fucking cut a big groove in it right here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn around. Okay, there we go. I'll move it up here a little bit. You can see where it just cut this big groove in here, and now it's just grinding it away. So as the new one comes in, we're doing a little file project here. Make sure it's nice and smooth on this surface. We'll flip it around. We'll do the same thing. I'm getting ready to do this side here. We'll do the file here since this is a raised surface here, because as it punches through, this side is nice and flat. It almost cuts at an angle. It starts off bigger and then gets smaller, which leaves this bottom raised edge up. And that will actually cut into here, into your bushing, your contact bushing with your micro switches. And you can tell, I don't know if you can see that. Let me get it over here. And I'll show you what it does over time. Is that focused in? Yeah, there's about 20,000 big gap right here. It just ate this shit up. It really did eat it up. So we're gonna head and preemptively file this, polish it, and I got some very fine micron shit to do that with. So it's gonna be gold and butter. It will last a long time and it's not gonna wear everything down. So we got the top here. We'll go on. You know what? Let's zoom back in. There we go. There we go. All right. So we finished this side here. Like I said, in sort of a round motion, and especially work on where these where the nub is here, because those are very sharp. And you can see I already put this nice little shiny here, but it's nice and rounded. I put just a small radius on there so it's not sharp. That's what you want. Like I said, it don't take a whole lot. Nothing like some good elevator music behind this dumb fucking boring shit I'm doing to put you to sleep. That's the whole goal. Alright, we got that. Feels very smooth, and I could rub my fingers across here, across the top here. Yeah, that's smooth. And later when I start getting the polish finish to it for my customer, I'll be doing a polish on here, and this will be fucking smooth as butter. The inside and the edges, it will naturally blend in that small radius you put there. And it may only be 5-7 thousandths worth of radius, but that's all you want, just a break edge. That's what they call a break edge. And that polish will come in here and smooth and blend that in perfectly, and especially smooth out this rough section here. You can see where it's punched. It's very rough here. And we'll be filing that down after we get down to the backside here. And then our last feat is we'll take sandpaper, make sure this surface here, is nice and smooth so it sits flush on your plate. And no need to really sand this off. We don't need to do anything with the top side. You can tell it's got more of a shiny finish and it's a little raised as compared to this. You can tell it's flat all over here, but we will be working on this side. Let's go ahead and get our bottom one here. We got the top. We're gonna work that little nub there. That did not fucking sound right. We will file this fucking nub here just a little bit. Make sure we get just get that break edge off of there. And we'll get most of it when we file this way. So, but you want that break edge, and you can tell it's a little tough right there. There we go. So I was in a hurry when I did this last time. I just wanted to get it on there. I really didn't do it the way I should be doing it. Just gotta take my time. That feels good. It's perfect. That's good. It's basically clean. You might have a little more filing to do since I pre-filed this earlier. I just wanted to go through and show you the process. You know, if anybody wanted to do this dumb shit, well, here's a video of it. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but I enjoy this kind of shit. And you know, it really will extend your maintenance time between stick rebuilds. It really will. Because it's not going to be grinding as much and you know, getting all that shit in your grease and grinding your, you know, wearing your bearing out in the center. All right, that feels pretty good. Now we got the holes, we got raised edges up on the holes, but we're going to file that whole base. So now we're going to worry about just this center portion here. I wish I had a flat surface. I'd sit this on a flat surface. There we go. That's good enough. I just want it sort of angling it, but I'm going straight across flat. Just flush with this. I want to get that inside as best I can. Just let the file do the work. Of course, you're not going to sit here and I can go back and forth on this one. I'm not just going one way. And I'll just let it ride up over that little the little nub section there. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's hard to get a good thing. Just let it ride over there. That's nice and smooth. It's nice and smooth. See, that nub is still... Now I'll just work it out a little. You don't want to take too much off there. I just want to make sure the sharp edges are off of that. There we go. That inside looks pretty good. Nice and shiny. It doesn't look like it's been... And you're not filing it at an angle, so you're not putting any more of an angle on it. Because when the polish comes, when I go back to polish this, I'm not polishing this one. I don't have the equipment to do it right now. But I'm getting that. I'm picking up that stuff tomorrow, so I can work on the other ones I have that I have to send out. There we go. Oh, that looks good. That looks much better. It's a little bit of a process, but, you know, it's fun to do. It's more fun than playing the game, in my opinion. It'll be nice and smooth for Junior and Donkey Kong 3, you know, the games that matter. The games everybody talks about. If you want to be good at one of those games, you know. Alright, try to blend it up over that hump. There we go. Okay, and just got this side to do left, and that's it. And then we'll bust out the ultra fine micron, 5 micron. Basically, it's a polished paper, and this is going to tell me where my high spots are on the plate. It takes a while, though. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out my isopropyl alcohol. 70% is good enough. I don't need anything special, but I'm going to use my hard plate or my pad over here, and then put a little bit of alcohol on there, and I'll rub it. I'll actually sand it with the alcohol on there. There we go. Just a light, just going over it very lightly now, just to make sure. Just very, very lightly going over it. Let the file do the work. These little O-cut files are very nice, very handy. You get into small areas. There we go, perfect. Let's go ahead and clean it off. Very nice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate everybody here watching this. And this is sort of mundane, like I said, unnecessary for most, but you know, it's fun. All right, here we go. So we got that. Now we're going to do the back side here. We're going to take our back side and run it on this 5 micron sanding sheet. This is fucking crazy 5 micron sheet. And it should, after a little bit, we should see high spots in here somewhere. But I can feel high spots around these holes. But I just want it nice and perfect. Now I got that good. And that's going to take care of these inner edges too, as I'm just sanding it down. Let's get our pad out here. And here is this. This is 2.5. You can see, look at that. Just that shit just eats your hands up. This is 2.5 micron paper. I mean, this is for polishing glass and shit. This stuff. I'm gonna use this sheet here on my bezel and see how it works. I might do a video on that just to see, because it's that would be awesome. Getting those fine scratches out. I mean, I got some scratches you could actually see. Damn it, you can actually see on the video when you watch it. You can see those scratches on there. If they could take those fine scratches out with this stuff, shit, I'm good to go. Oh, what the hell happened to that other screw? That doesn't matter. All right, I need to move the control panel out of the way so I have room. This is the important part. And then we'll go back through the re-greasing and reassembly. All right. Got our special mat here. And what we're gonna do, this is really, really fine. Am I even in there? Yeah, because this has got a shiny side here, which actually it sticks to this. Look at this shit. This pad is awesome. It's like it was made for this sandpaper sheets right here. So it will stick on there. Look at that. And then you can file. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit. Try to avoid getting that on there. Now, it'll take a while, but you'll actually start seeing gray. You'll actually start seeing gray on here. But this is so fine. Hey, look at this. It's an ASMR video. Oh, now you can see it. I don't know if, can you see it? Can you see all this gray? It actually is starting to sand. Yeah, right there. You can see it pull up a little bit. That's how fine this shit is. This shit is so fine. Okay, let's take it off here and let's see where our high spots are. We'll see how nice it is. All right. It's interesting. Where the fuck am I? Where the fuck am I? Here we go. Look at that. You see the shiny portions here? Here? And here. These are all high spots. So you know this isn't exactly... It may be a tenth, half a tenth, 50 millionths, or a tenth difference between the shiny and that. But it barely takes off anything. But this will show you the high spots, but this will polish in. We're going to keep going. So now we know it's working really good. Just a little bit of alcohol. You see it working. It's doing its job. You don't need to put much pressure on it at all. Not a whole lot of pressure. You see the alcohol getting darker and darker because I'd rather have it floating in the alcohol than embedding in the paper. Once it starts getting into the paper, then it stops working. So always keep the paper wet. You don't have to use alcohol. You can use distilled water would be good. It's starting to get a little dry on me. Let's go ahead and a little more. Oh, I can't wait to use this on my bezel. Just don't use the alcohol. Use the water on the bezel. No alcohol on the bezel. Just use straight up water. And this paper is fucking phenomenal. I'll test it. I'm going to test it. We'll see how well it works. I can't wait to see, those scratches come out. Now, punch marks won't come out, but the scratches will. You know what I'm talking about. All right, let's check it out. You can see plenty of, it's doing its job. You can see just a little bit of dirt on there. You can see it's working. It is working. Look on here. And what do we see? No more high spots. No more high spots anywhere. Fucking smooth. I don't even worry about this outer edge either. As long as it's not a contact surface area, you're good. Now this is all contact surface area in here. This is why we want that, especially here, smoothed out and everything. All right, we got the high spots off. That worked extraordinary. Wow, this shit is fucking gold. Oof, I'm gonna keep that. All right, now it's time. We'll bust out our 2.5 micron paper. This is ridiculous. This is beyond ridiculous to do this dumb shit. There we go. Let's work on it, see if we can't just make it a little finer. I mean, you can almost not feel the paper. It's almost ridiculous. Very, very, very fine. We'll do this for a little bit. This is the process I'm going to start doing anytime. Anytime you get a new restrictor plate, you don't need to go through this dumb shit, but smoothing it out with an O-cut file, smoothing it out with the O-cut file or any little file, just don't gouge the shit out of it. It will really extend your life of your stick for sure. And hopefully this helps my rebuilds. Not every other month I have to do this, or every couple months, or it might be every 6 months now. Because really I'm not taking any, it's not grinding in there. It's not taking any material off. See, if I keep going, where am I? Right here? I can keep going and I could polish this to almost a mirror. You could do it with almost a mirror finish. Probably a 32 or less finish on it. Or no, not a 32. 32 is rough. Like anything more than a 125 finish is good. So you imagine 200 plus like mirror finish that'd be awesome. I'd like the top of it to be mirror finish, just so it has that look. But you're just going to get grease all over it anyway. But I want it just as smooth as possible. And actually, the 5 micron I might want to use this 2.5 micron on my bezel. God, it's just, you run it across here and you feel it's just so smooth now. Hey, man, thanks for dropping in, man. I'll throw this VOD up on my YouTube. Maybe. The music. It's pretty low music. Shouldn't matter. but Twitch won't do anything with it, so that's good. I don't think so. I mean, it's not a big deal, you know, and I can put up another video. I can do this all over again. I have another restrictor plate coming where I could just concentrate and do a restrictor plate, just a prep of this restrictor plate before you install it, and that won't take long. I can do that. Make sure it's doing the same process. Okay. See, there we go. I mean, you can imagine it's just getting more and more. Those scratches are starting to come out, and it's getting more and more of a mirror finish to it. So you know it's smooth. Wow, that is very smooth. I wonder. It'd be a lot of work, but I can cut a piece of this and sort of just go over the edges in here. And the edges aren't bad. I mean, they're really smooth as compared. You just want to stick your finger in there. And when you rotate it on your finger like this, and it's not cutting the shit out of your finger, you know it's good. Not that you want to test it out beforehand. So yeah, it's nice and smooth in there. Your little humps over here are not sharp anymore. They were sharp. I got all those sharp edges off of there. Very good. So that's it for that, and that worked out really good. This paper is the shit. It really is. What awesome fucking paper. I didn't even know such shit existed before. Now I do. Special mat. I borrowed this from work, so I gotta take it back. This stuff is I don't want to take their good shit from them, and that is really good shit. All right, so what's next? Let's get our panel back up here. Everything's good. We got our plate, and I guess I could sand this down a little bit, just take it over there. It seems a little. It's the restrictor plate I'm worried about, and as long as I got the holes here, like I said, sharp edges off the holes, the mounting holes where the screws go in. And it sits a little flush as possible. I'm happy with that. So we won't do any more with that. But now it is time, and this is where I'll use this one. We got to pack our bearing here. We got to make sure we pack our bearing. Go ahead and make sure it's all dry. Okay. Flip it around. Very good. So we'll go ahead and sit it on its side so I can actually start packing grease in the sides here, and then we'll rotate it over and we'll just keep packing it with our special marine grease here, which is the perfect consistency of what I need. A little goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot. Don't need a whole lot, that's for sure. And I'll just sit there, just sort of scoop it in there. And I'll just tuck it down in there. We'll rotate it a little bit. Add grease. Rinse and repeat. Rotate, add grease. Rotate, add grease. Maybe a little too much there. We'll rotate, spin it around, rotate. Rotate. Really put it up there. It's better to put it on with a Q-tip. I'm barely touching it, but you don't want to file touching this, be honest. All right. Take that, put it on this side. Just a little on that side, and then we'll go ahead and put the actual joystick in there and work it around. And just add as needed. Start off with a little bit, because you'll feel it starting to stiff up just a little bit. Just a little bit there. We'll reset that there. We'll put our stick back in. And just work it around. Just make sure you work it all around. Get that grease spread in there really good. And that feels like just maybe a little more grease on that. Yeah, just a little more on that. That wasn't quite enough. Just a little more grease, we're good to go. Okay, bag. Oh, that's way too much. Just need a little bit here. Damn it, there we go. There we go. Okay, that should be perfect amount. Yeah, that's perfect right there. Make sure everything's covered in there. Let's rest off the stick here. Yeah, it should feel a little sticky. It should feel sticky, a little, not sticky, but smooth, but slightest of resistance. The slightest of resistance. That's what you want. That's perfect. All right, we're done with that. And I will go ahead and clean off the top here. I don't need any more dirt and grime under here. Okay, very good. We're at the point where we're ready to reassemble, so we are good. Perfect. All right, go ahead and put our base nuts back on. With our 7mm, mine is 7mm. I don't know if that's standard. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this is original and not reproduction control panel, so I'm assuming that it's 7mm is standard. Okay. Okay, there's that one. All right, let's get our ground wire put on before we forget this one. And I really want to do that under here. Put that under there. Okay, I can tighten it. Don't over tighten it. You don't need to torque wrench it. You just want it snug. Because these have nuts on nuts, so it's just like a backstop. It's not gonna unscrew on you once you get these top nuts on there. And that's just a little bit of pressure. A little more than finger tight. That's all you need. Okay. There we go. Very good. It's a little monotonous, but hopefully this helps out and show you exactly how easy it is to rebuild it, and you don't need any fancy fucking grease or anything like that. I mean, you really don't. You just find a grease that's comfortable for you. Anything to keep that bearing from, getting eaten up in there. You don't want it dry. You want it cleaned out, and then main thing is really clean out that cavity in between that bearing. All right, so we got that on. What's next? We're actually going to assemble. We're going to assemble the stick and then put our restrictor plate over the top. So we got our nice clean bottom bushing. Let's clean these off. Anything I have dirt on, I just want to clean off here. Champ Kong. I don't think I've seen that one. Now let's drop this in here. get our stick cleaned off here. Of course, we'll bust out the CRC. Even though we're going to re-lube it, I still want it nice and clean. And I use the same grease. Just a very thin film of it. Very, very thin. So I'll just take maybe too much there. Like I said, I'll just put like this much on my finger here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's all you need. Just get the top around this step right here. Depending on what variation of stick, my original or Mike's. Just make sure that's all you need. That's all you need on the stick. So it's been cleaned, and I got to clean the ball end. I'll clean that off with alcohol later after I assemble it. So I've got our Jesus clip here. All right. Let's get this up through here. Oh, the funnel board. Oh, that is pretty cool. I haven't played much of the Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. I started to play it on Retro Achievements. There we go. Got our stick in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and push our push that. Look at that. That bushing's just sliding down by itself. That's perfect. Sits flush. All right, we'll put our spring on. And we'll put our top bushing on. Oh, can you see that? Am I doing it? There we go. Put our top bushing on here. Get our Jesus clip ready. On standby. All right. Jesus clip is on. Bam, done. Just like that. Just give it a feel. Oh, oh, that feels really good. And now we'll go ahead and put our restrictor plate on. This should be nice. Should feel really good. Screw the screws in. Do not tighten them down yet. Just get them lined in there. Always get them all in there before you just do your tightening. Okay. And tightening, I'll go top to bottom. Left to right. Or right to left. I don't know how this is. Camera's reversed. There we go. There we go. Let's feel it. Still nice. Now, here, add just a little bit. Here's your next lube point. Lube point. Lube. And it don't take much. I just go ahead and take slightly, just a hair. You don't need much, but you want it just where that bushing meets that restrictor plate. Such a thin film. There we go. That's all. That's all I want there. You just work it around. Just get a little bit on there. Just a hair. Okay. And then smear the rest of it. Just reach down on there and just pull that rest of that lube there, the rest of that grease up. And just get a little bit up here because this is where your contacts for your servos or micro switches are. All right, let's get the micro switches back in. Very good. Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to line these up. Let's go this way here. There we go. Like I said, don't tighten them until you get both of them in there. go. Just, like I said, don't torque them down. A little more than hand tight. That's it. Just that little bit. That's all you're going to need. Okay, oh, shit. Get back here. There it is. Right there. That first one started. There it is. And figure out where that second one is. I think it's there. Perfect. Just, like I said, a little more. Just a little snug. You don't want to crack these servos. I've cracked them before. Here's the proof. I don't know if Matt's in here, Gilly. Remember when I was trying to reset the and advance the boards for the player 2 button wasn't working? That is why. It was already pre-cracked, and when I pulled it out of there, finally it just fell apart. That's why it wasn't working. Interesting. Next plate. Don't forget your bottom plates here, your riser plates. Find out where the hole is, right? All right. I want my clean one here. I gotta move that riser plate over. There we go. Get it all lined up. It's very important. We're almost there, folks. We got one more micro switch to do. I mean, you don't really need to bust out your engineering degree here. You go by the fundamentals. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That's all you need to know. Engineering 101. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Perfect. And there you have it. There you have your rebuilt stick. Let's see what it sounds like. Oh, it feels like butter. Oh, this is so nice. But first off, let's get it cleaned off here. So you got all that fucking grease on my hands, and then I'm gonna use alcohol here to clean off this. Clean off my hands here. And I'll probably, once I reinstall it, I'll wipe it down again once I get it on there. But that is pretty much it. Rebuild from top to bottom, soups, nuts, all that good stuff. It looks cleaner. Everything, your plate sits flush. Let me get my cut here. Your plate is now sitting, your restrictor plate is now fitting flush against the surface area here. And now you're not going to have, and since you smoothed that out down here, these corners, you're not going to have it dig into the side of this bushing down here and wear that out. Oh, that sound. That sounds so sexy. That sounds so sexy. It just feels smooth. And there you go. There you have it. And there's our out with the old. Like I said, the only thing I wish is that this restrictor plate, the Mike's Arcade one, was as thick as this one. Like I said, that's 94 thou thick. And the Mike's is about 78. So a little bit of thicker on the old school original stock is thicker. All in all, it's not going to make a difference. It really is not going to make a difference for performance at all. Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. I just went above and beyond with doing really dumb shit with really expensive stuff to do what, you know? Same thing. It doesn't take grade A equipment, you know. The fucking Micron sandpaper is ridiculous, you know. But I'm going to definitely use it. I'm going to definitely use it on the bezel. And I'm going to work that bezel in and get those micro scratches out of there. That paper is fucking awesome. That's fucking... It's alcohol. Whew. Excellent. Oh, shit, I left my coffee here. I bet you my coffee's getting cold. So there you have it. There's Nintendo Stick Rebuild 101. Pretty simple, and like I said, now I'm going to install this and stream tonight. So we'll be on some Donkey Kong tonight with this new stick. It doesn't help steering, and it doesn't help RNG, but it makes me feel a little bit better. It really does. And of course, I modified, when it comes in, these Leaf Pros. I was having issues with these Leaf Pros. You can see that gap there. When it comes in stock, these gaps are a lot smaller. And I was getting to the point where I was hit the jump button, and these were sticking and releasing late for some reason. And I would hit the jump button, it would jump later. So I had to spread these just a little bit apart, but not too much. And these Pro Leaf switches here, they're gold. They are gold as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and call it. Thank you everybody for dropping by and watching this. I'll go ahead and highlight this and leave it up there for anybody who wants to watch this dumb shit. And yeah, I'm gonna hook it up and play here in a few hours. So we'll see y'all later. If anybody's streaming right now, I will go ahead and, well, let me see. Is anybody streaming? Let's go home. No, the other home. No one's playing Donkey Kong right now? I don't have anybody on my list? That's weird. Okay, anyway. Since there is nobody left to raid right now, we're going to reinstall this and play some later. I appreciate everybody dropping by again. We'll see y'all later.